In the mid-19th century, a British explorer made a discovery that changed our perspective on the world forever. During his exploration of the ancient biblical city of Nineveh in now modern-day Iraq, Sir Austin Henry Layard uncovered the ruins of the Royal Library of Ashurbanipal, the last great king of the Assyrian Empire. The library contained over 30,000 clay tablets inscribed with cuneiform texts in Akkadian, Babylonian, and Sumerian script, the oldest known writing system ever discovered. Among them was a fragmented collection of broken texts written across 7 individual tablets with the opening words Enuma Elish, which translates to "when in the heights" or "when in the heavens." Known today as the 7 Tablets of Creation, the epic provides incredible detail on the events which occurred during the opening paragraphs of the book of Genesis, more than 1,000 years before Hebrew scribes had even began to write down the first biblical scriptures. Both the Enuma Elish and Genesis detail the creation of our solar system, the earth and the heavens, the establishment of day and night, and that a divine figure is responsible for the creation of mankind. Despite the Enuma Elish being written several centuries prior, there are some interesting parallels between the two texts. In the Babylonian epic, the gods finish their work over the course of the first 6 tablets, while in Genesis, the account reports 6 days of creation. The 7th tablet of the Enuma Elish is dedicated to the greatness of the deity's handiwork, while Genesis reports the 7th day as the Sabbath, or rest day. Another parallel is the formation of mankind. Tablet 6 of the Enuma Elish describes the creation of mankind, while in the Genesis account, Adam and Eve were formed on the 6th day. These similarities are more than just coincidence, yet the Enuma Elish and other ancient scripts have mostly been dismissed as purely mythological by most non-biblical scholars, suggesting that the stories were used only for political and religious purposes to enhance the stature of a city's chosen deity. The Babylonian version of the epic, for example, written circa 1200 BCE, focuses on Marduk as the hero, the chief god of Babylon. But earlier versions interchange the story's champion. Anu, king of the Mesopotamian gods, and Enki, son of Anu, were considered the heroes in earlier Sumerian versions. Others argue that there may be scientific significance to the texts. According to these researchers, the epic describes the creation of our solar system in more detail than is accounted for, including the creation of planets, even those that are not visible to the naked eye, such as Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. This level of astronomical knowledge would have been considered impossible for ancient people to possess, as they lacked the advanced technology and telescopes that would be needed to confirm their existence. Therefore, some scholars suggest that the Babylonians may have obtained this knowledge from an outside source, such as extraterrestrial beings or lost civilizations. The epic begins with the 2 primeval gods, Apsu, Heavenly Father, and Tiamat, Heavenly Mother, who, via a union between themselves, the first generation of gods emerged, Mumu, Lahamu, and Lamu. The second generation of gods are then born, with Lahamu and Lamu giving birth to Anshar and Kishar, who in turn create Anu. Anu then has a son, Nudimmud, also known as Enki, who in turn has his own son, Marduk. The younger god's noise disturbs Apsu, and he decided to destroy them, but his plans were foiled by Nudimmud, who put Apsu to sleep with a spell. Tiamat, angered by the loss of her mate, decided to take revenge on the younger gods and creates an army of monsters led by her consort, Kingu. The younger gods, led by Marduk, decided to fight against Tiamat and her army. Marduk battled Tiamat, eventually killing her and taking the Tablet of Destinies from Kingu. Marduk then split Tiamat's body in half, using one part to create the sky and the other to create the earth. Discovered in the 18th century by German astronomer Johann Bode, Bode's law is a mathematical formula that accurately predicts the distance of the planets in our solar system from the Sun. There is one area in our solar system, however, that complicates this proven formula. According to Bode's law, there should be a planet between Mars and Jupiter, but instead it is filled with numerous small rocky asteroids which we call the asteroid belt. Biblical scholar and best-selling author Zechariah Sitchin suggested in his 1976 book, The 12th Planet, that there is a satisfactory explanation for this, first detailed by the Mesopotamians nearly 4,000 years ago. In his interpretation, an infant and unstable solar system made up of the Sun and 9 planets was invaded by a large comet-like planet from outer space. In the beginning, the universe only had 3 bodies: Apsu, the Sun; Mummu, Mercury; and Tiamat, an existing planetary body. The waters of Apsu and Tiamat were mingled, and 2 twin planets were formed between them, Lamu and Lahamu, which became Mars and Venus. Before they could grow to their full size, another pair of planets were formed, Kishar and Anshar, which we call Saturn and Jupiter. Later, a third pair of planets was formed, Anu, Uranus, which formed a twin planet of the same size, Nudimud or Neptune. Gaga, or Pluto, was formed when Anshar, Saturn, opened his mouth, suggesting that Pluto was once a moon of Saturn, according to the ancient Mesopotamians. The passage then introduces Marduk, a new celestial god who was born in the deep and shone brightly as he approached the other planets. Sitchin suggests this is the 12th planet of our solar system, yet to be discovered by modern-day astronomers. A satellite of Marduk collided with Tiamat, destroying her and her army, eliminating Tiamat, and bringing Earth into being. Earth was thrust into a new orbit nearer the Sun, leaving the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter, where a planet should now sit, according to Bode's law. Kingu was then assigned a new role, put into orbit around Earth to become the Moon. There is currently no definitive proof for the existence of an additional planet on the outer reaches of our solar system, but scientists have inferred its existence based on the gravitational effects we have witnessed on the outer solar system objects. For example, several studies have found that the observed orbits of some Kuiper Belt objects suggest the presence of a large, undiscovered planet beyond Neptune and Pluto. However, Sitchin's theory not only explains the discrepancy in Bode's law and the unexplained location of the asteroid belt, but it also offers an explanation for the unpredictable orbits of comets within our solar system, which could have been formed during the collision. Additionally, the collision could be the source of how prokaryotic life was first seeded on Earth 4 billion years ago, via the mingling of waters between the 2 planets. At the Vorderasiatische Abteilung State Museum in East Berlin is an Akkadian cylinder seal from the 3rd millennium BC, catalogued as VA 243. Sitchin uses this artifact to prove his theory that the ancient Mesopotamians did indeed have knowledge of all heavenly bodies which make up our solar system, including the elusive 12th planet, or Planet X. Most scholars have dismissed these claims, suggesting the seal depicts only a star, with accompanying stars surrounding it in a random order. However, research undertaken by Carl Donk, a computer software engineer from South America, compared the diameter of each celestial body in the seal with the existing known planets and satellites within our solar system. He also included the estimated size of Planet X, which astrophysicists suggest would be 4 times the size of Jupiter once discovered. What he found was nothing short of amazing. Each of the 12 globes on cylinder seal VA 245 are an extremely close match to the relative sizes of the known heavenly bodies in our solar system, including Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto, which are impossible to witness with the naked eye. The chances of an Akkadian scribe accurately predicting the correct sizes of 12 planetary bodies is less than 0.000001%, leaving the question, did the ancients really have advanced knowledge of our solar system more than 4,000 years ago? And if so, where did they obtain this knowledge? The discovery of these tablets is nothing short of groundbreaking, as it highlights a key difference between the Enuma Elish and modern translations of Genesis. While the Enuma Elish refers to multiple ancient gods, the Genesis texts only mention one god. This significant distinction has the potential to completely reshape our understanding of the origins and practices of the 3 main Abrahamic religions that are followed by more than 4.3 billion people worldwide today. Interestingly, a curious and often overlooked fact is revealed when referring to the original Hebrew translations of the book of Genesis. The ancient Hebrew scriptures use the word Elohim for God, which is actually a plural noun that literally translates to gods or divine beings. This raises the question, is it possible that Christianity, Judaism, and Islam all have pagan origins, and are there any clues that suggest the monotheistic practice of worshiping one God is technically incorrect? We don't need to look much further than the book of Genesis to see that this error has been hidden in plain sight for thousands of years. Verses like, "Let us make man in our image, in our likeness," Genesis 1:27. "Come, let us go down and confuse their language," Genesis 11:7. "And behold, the man has become like one of us," Genesis 3:22, clearly suggest that God is not alone, but is instead referring to other gods or divine beings. In fact, the Bible itself gives us some of their names, as there are several Semitic gods mentioned throughout its text, including Chemosh, Milcom, Dagon, Asherah, Moloch, and more. Some researchers even contend that there are at least 23 other Elohim, or gods, mentioned throughout the Bible. All of this raises important questions about the true nature of God in the Abrahamic faiths and their relationship to pagan religions. But who exactly are these other great gods, worshipped in ancient times, but hidden in plain sight to us?